A married couple went to the hospital to have their baby delivered. Upon their arrival, the doctor said he had invented a new machine that would transfer a portion of the mother's labor pain to the baby's father. He was asked if they were willing to try it out. They were both very much in favor of it. The doctor set the pain transfer to 10% for starters. However, as the labor progressed, the husband felt fine and asked the doctor to go ahead and kick it up a notch. The doctor then adjusted the machine to 20% pain transfer. The husband was still feeling fine. The doctor checked the husband's blood pressure and was amazed at how well he was doing. At this point, they decided to up it to 50%. The husband continued to feel quite well. Since the pain transfer was obviously helping the wife considerably, the husband encouraged the doctor to transfer all of the pain to him. The wife delivered a healthy baby with virtually no pain. She and her husband were ecstatic. When they got home, the mailman was dead on the porch. A criminal is brought into a prison for major crimes. The warden informs him that he will be shot in the middle of the prison by 20 of his men. The prisoner was fine with that, but he asked for some conditions. All of your men must stand 20 feet away from me, and I must be able to select where each one of them stands. If I survive, I get to leave. The warden thinks about it and knows that all of his men will still have an open shot at the criminal, so he agrees. The next day, immediately after the firing squad is positioned, the criminal walks out untouched. A bank is getting robbed, and one of the robbers tells one of the tellers to give him all the money. The teller tells him she doesn't have access to it. Suddenly, the phone rings. The robber tells the teller to answer it and not give them away. She picks up the phone, and it happens to be her mother. She tells her mother, "Is this an emergency, Mom? Call me when I get home. I can use some help painting." Then she hangs up. The robbers continue to try to get into the vault, but 20 minutes later, the police show up with the teller's mom and arrest them all. How did the police know about the robbery? A very famous chemist was found murdered in his kitchen today. The police have narrowed it down to 6 suspects. They know it was a 2-man job. Their names are as follows. A note was also found with the body. Here's what was written on the note. There are 1,600 people sitting around a circular table. The first person, we'll call him person 1, has a sword and kills the second person, then hands it to the next alive person. In this case, would be person 3. Person 3 stabs person 4 and gives the sword to person 5. This goes on until person 1499 kills person 1500. Then person 1 kills person 3, and so on. This is repeated until there is only one single person remaining. Who remains in the end? There are 20 birds in a tree. A man comes and shoots one of the birds. How many birds are left? A man is found dead in a phone booth in a pool of blood. The glass on either end of the phone booth is broken and the phone is hanging. Just outside of the phone booth is a bucket and a stick. What happened? Four hikers are forced into a cabin with no lights by a bad storm. On the door of the cabin is a sign that reads, "Come in as you please, but fall asleep and you will die." Being very superstitious, they all take this very seriously and devise a plan so they can all stay awake. They all stand in a corner, and one person walks from one corner along the wall to the next and taps the person in that corner, making sure that they are awake. They do this for many hours until one hiker suddenly runs out of the cabin screaming, along with all the others behind him. A man stabs his wife to death with a knife in their car. Nobody is around to see this. He throws her out of the car, being careful not to leave any fingerprints on her body. Next, he throws the knife off a cliff into a gorge where it will never be found, and he goes home. An hour later, the police call him and tell him that his wife has been murdered, and he needs to come to the scene of the crime immediately. As soon as he arrives, he is arrested. How did they know that he did it? A couple goes on a plane. The plane crashes. The crash is in all the newspapers and television outlets because every single person died. But the next day, that same couple are found walking on the street, happy as can be, not a scratch or bruise on them. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Cryptic Collection. Sorry I've taken a long extended absence, but I'm glad to be back. There's going to be a small change to the format. You probably noticed that there was an ultra hard story in here, so for anyone that needs a true challenge, those ones are for you. Also, in the comments section, if no one has got the answer right, the real answer will not be posted, and there will be a future compilation on everything that's been unanswered. Once again, thank you for supporting the channel. We now have over 300 subscribers and growing. And make sure to tell all your friends about this channel, or else you may be dead by midnight.
I don't want to be alone. We can play forever and ever and ever.